Hey guys, I know this video is going to be really confusing considering I'm uploading this past 200k, or at least I think we will still be at 200k when I throw this video up. YouTube's been like breaking and unfollowing active and inactive accounts. It's just all over the place. But anyways, besides the point, I have addressed why this video I didn't put it up at 100k. I explained it on like posts in general on social media, as well as in the channel update video, which I really recommend checking it out if you haven't seen any of that already. I kind of addressed the state of the channel and what I'll be planning to do it, and just kind of an IRL update in general as well. So hopefully that's a little bit explanatory. It's just a lot of crap hit the fan when I'd reached 100k, and I just didn't really feel like, you know, celebrating stuff. And even though I had filmed this video, and it is a longer video, but so I understand if not everybody wants to watch it, but I did answer a lot of the questions that were posted at the time. So I hope you guys are doing fantastic, and I hope you're staying safe and healthy in spite of everything going on. And let's get into the video. Guys, we did a thing. It's here. So if you haven't seen, I did put out a community post. We hit 100k on YouTube a little while ago, like a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, something like that. But someone gave me the idea of doing a Q&A video while I unboxed it, and I'm not gonna lie, I peeked because I was really excited and my parents wanted to see it, and so I wanted to show them because this is pretty nuts. I know a lot of people have quite a bit of 100k plaques, but this is something I didn't think I'd ever see, and so I'm really excited, and I cannot thank you guys enough. I don't think any of this will ever set in really properly, but it's freaking nuts, and I appreciate you all. You've been such a dope community, and I appreciate it. Full of a bunch of genuine people and just here to hang out and everything, and I can never thank that enough. Y'all are awesome. Thank you so freaking much. So I will probably unbox the majority of this first. I obviously can't turn this around, but it did have like YouTube on the package, which kind of like caught me off guard, like in big fun. I'm like, oh, if that's out on my doorstep so long, someone might have yoinked that. I doubt that would have happened, but you know what I mean? One of those things where it's like, oh shit, it's not really concealed when they mail it. But it's really cool. It comes with a freaking rectangle. I didn't peel the nice plastic off of it, though, I will say. Like, you know when you're just, like, nerdgasm you get when you get a new tech product and you get to peel that plastic off? Yeah, I haven't done that yet. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm like, ah. So, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and hold it below my desk, though, because I don't want to leak anything. The first question here, by the way, if I ever do community posts or anything in the future in terms of like Q&As, or if I ask you guys questions, I really recommend Twitter, or again, there is the community posting that I do. I don't like posting it really too much elsewhere, purely because I feel that it's way more community-based if I do it on YouTube itself. There's a lot of people off-site sometimes that post things and then they don't go and check, and I'd rather focus on the people that are on this platform that, you know, attention to you guys for those questions. So maybe I can do it if you guys would prefer, or feedback, you know, I don't know. It seemed like a lot of you did find this and commented on it, but if you guys prefer me doing videos and at the end of a video or a beginning, letting you guys to know, comment things instead of putting it on the community tab, feel free to let me know. I don't really know how often it pops up on your page in general, if you're afraid of missing stuff in the future, but I'd love to hear feedback on that. But the first question here, before I go ahead and open this up entirely, Kikari Game said, do you ever find yourself faking humor for the sake of content in a fake it till you make it kind of way, or do you still genuinely keep a positive attitude after years of streaming? So don't get me wrong, I definitely get into a fucky headspace once in a while where I'm like, you know, shit can be overwhelming because there's a bunch of assholes on the internet, and it doesn't bother me nearly as much anymore. It's a learning curve. But in terms of the faking humor and whatnot, my humor is genuinely shitty, punny, memey, dad shit, right? That's just, my parents' humor is the exact same way. I'm highly sarcastic. If I want to chill, I'm going to chill. But I personally don't find myself faking it till I make it. That was the first thing when I decided I was going to do content creation, when stuff started growing. I told myself I was going to stick to my morals and I was not going to do any of that bullshit. I'm tired. I'm still fucking sick of seeing the amount of fake people genuinely in this industry that only care about baiting drama, that only care about like being assholes to other people or leeching because people just want to climb to the top purely to be asinine and just they want clout and quick money. I really don't like that. I would love to make a difference in this industry, and even if I'm the fucking punching bag for it, I'll do it. And I don't like the faking shit. I'm not a good liar anyways. Like, I can't fucking do that, man. My mom, if I ever tried to, fucking catches me within like 2 seconds that I'm doing it. I can't fucking do it. So I am just genuinely a positive person most of the time. I think that's kind of hard for people to believe. I don't take things really too seriously. Like I've been through my fair share of shit. I don't, it is what it is. Hopefully that answers your question. Don't know if it entirely does, but yeah. No, I'm not doing I don't ever find myself like doing the fake it till you make it shit. This styrofoam is coming off. Oh, there's like a little message in here too from Susan. Susan Wojcicki. I'm probably saying it wrong, dude. I know everybody says it all the time and I just fuck it up. But I'm sure this is like the same fucking standard message everybody gets. So I'm not gonna read it. I mean, I read it already, but I'm not gonna read it to you guys. It's just, congratulating you, and millions not that far off, and, excitingly sappy bullshit that is probably just mass printed anyways, but maybe not. Who knows? And then Tapawa Musa, any tips for aspiring streamers who don't have the resources for an advanced, fancier setup? So here's the thing. Your setup does not make your content. There's so many people that I see fucking dump a fuck ton of money, like thousands of dollars into a setup, and then they end up hating streaming. Or it's not what they expect it to be. They expect to grow overnight. All this other dumb bullshit. That is not... Focus on your content itself. If, enjoy it, don't force yourself into shit if you don't know if you're gonna like it, or if you feel obligated to do that, because that is not the case. There's so many other streamers that don't have a bunch of fucking high-tech equipment that it's your quality is way better than quantity, or the more expensive shit that you buy. That also being said, I have a content creation video. If you guys don't know, there's a lot of things that, like, video-wise, and I would like to do more of these in the future. I haven't had time. But there's a content creation video. You can just go into the search bar, Crusader content creation, and it'll pop up. I'll link it in the description, but if you don't want to go to there, you can just type it in the search bar, and it'll pop up. Dude, this is like, it's got a fucking mirror, man. Hi. Sup, how are ya? Jazzy asks, how long have you been friends with Dean, Noah, and Mickey, and how'd you meet them? I have been friends with Dean and Mickey for 5 years now, about 5 years. And Noah, I met them all on Twitch. Noah, I knew him for 5 years, but him and I didn't really become like friends. He was friends with Taylor, my boyfriend, before he was friends with me. But we actually met through Taylor's community. I was friends with Taylor before him and I ended up dating. Like, we never expected a date. It was like one of the random things that we just met in person and hit it off. Tyson Law says, do you like sushi? A common question I ask anyone, good or bad response. I didn't like sushi for a hot minute until I tried a bunch of different kinds of sushi. I feel like most people are that way, that think that they hate it. They've tried like only a few kinds and they're like, I don't like it. There's so many different kinds of sushi. You just have to find the right thing. Taylor was the same way. I never thought I would like barbecue eel and stuff. Like, I really like caterpillar rolls, and I love nigiri or sashimi. I think it's technically sashimi. The fish on top of the rice, really like that. Salmon sashimi or nigiri is like fucking mint, dude. So yeah, I do like sushi a lot more than I used to now that I found the right thing. Michael is asking, what got you into streaming and doing YouTube? So I've always been involved with gaming. My dad was the reason I got into gaming. He was gaming when shit came out, and same with like D&D shit, which is why I like D&D shit so much. I was around it growing up all the time. I grew up watching the crew and everything, and I'm obviously friends with them now. I've been friends with them for over 4 years by this point. But I always enjoyed it. I always thought it was fun. I've always really enjoyed gaming. My friends always thought it, my reactions and shit were funny when we growing up. So I always thought it would be neat to do. I always thought I was going to go the YouTube route over streaming. Once I found out streaming was a thing, because I watched the crew back when they were on the MLG app, and then their contract was up, and then they went over to Twitch. That was how I found out about Twitch originally. And I was like, wow, this is really cool. You can connect with a lot of people online. You can talk instantly with people. This works way better with my schedule, because I was in high school when I started streaming. It was the summer after my junior year, so 2015 was when I started streaming on the site. But I hung around on the site. It was 2014 was when I had joined. I was watching Twitch. I didn't create an account for a long time, and I went through a couple different account variation names. So there was also that. But yeah, that's how I got interested in streaming. It just looked like fun. I know it's such a stupid answer. I feel like a lot of people expect something more in depth, but it looked fun. That was it. As I was saying, hi from Russia. Hello. I've been developing my channel for half a year. I watch your channel with 20,000 subs. I'm assuming you mean probably since 20,000 subs, which I appreciate. That's dope. What do you think gave me such a big increase in subs? TikTok. TikTok helped give promotion. So here's the thing, right? In such a short period of time, I can see outside that is TikTok, right? Yeah, okay. So I'll go more in depth for that for a reason. What I think about it, give me some advice or insight. Yeah, so there's the content creation video that I recommend in general. TikTok obviously kicked off my channel for everything. So here's what you guys, I don't think people realize. TikTok has the best social media algorithm. You can discover people that you never would have followed or originally popped up on your feed, like say Twitter or Instagram to begin with, because it doesn't recommend things like that. You could go to the discovery page and, search that way, but not really that many people go to those places to discover shit, right? So that being said, on Twitch, there's not really a way to discover people. The YouTube recommendation system is also generally pretty trash for smaller channels. Both platforms are saturated, and there's only so much recommending you can do with a live streaming platform such as Twitch. So growing on both of those, really hard. Growing anywhere itself, really fucking hard to do. TikTok is the best social media algorithm. Your best shot at getting noticed. So it's silly to not use that. Whatever it is for your work that you do, if you're trying to get your work out there, it doesn't even have to be gaming realm related. TikTok you're wasting an opportunity by not using it. It is a cool platform. It's got a lot of negatives too, don't get me wrong, but it is genuinely also a cool platform. TikTok boosted my YouTube channel, my Twitch channel. There was such an influx from off-site traffic from TikTok going to my Twitch and YouTube, right? And even like my Instagram, that it considered my channel hot from the algorithm and kicked off my YouTube and Twitch channel to start getting recommended on both platforms. So at this point, I am getting quite a bit of people from TikTok, but I'm also getting a lot of people genuinely from YouTube and a bunch of people genuinely from Twitch. Twitch, I am getting even more people just coming from YouTube over to Twitch in general. It's kind of insane, but it's annoying from my perspective, because as a smaller creator, it's like, wow, I've been busting my ass for 5 years and it took, something outside that, which it worked. Like I'm grateful for it, but it's like, damn, it took 5 years of busting my ass to like get here, waiting for that lucky break, I got my big break, and whatnot. And it's dope, and I love it and I busted my ass, but it makes me frustrated for other creators in the sense that it's so busted for an algorithm on platforms that TikTok, a new one that just pops up, has a better algorithm than these other platforms do. I just don't get it. I think it's kind of silly. And then Kenoshem asked, how do you cope with your ADHD? I'm finally getting tested at the age of 21 and struggle with pretty much everything, although I somehow managed to finish university. Well, hey, congrats to you for freaking finishing university and graduating. Coping with ADHD, I struggled with for quite a while. So for example, I went from reading like 700 pages of books in a few days to not really being able to read because my ADHD is really fucking bad. It's really weird. I struggled with high school. I went through having medication. I had to bounce around with a few different ones my junior year, which I also had to retake my ACT a few different times because I had to fucking find the right medicine that worked. But I didn't even entirely like how I felt on the medicine. It felt like I was pretty muted for the most part. I got way worse side effects when I got into college, where I actually was losing my appetite, and it didn't matter if we tried switching me on different medications again, it was still doing it. So I just talked to my doctor and I was like, I'll find other ways to like try and cope with it, but I don't like taking it. And I'm glad I feel way better off of it. But some people just don't operate that way, and some people need to like be on medicine for it. If I wasn't doing Twitch and stuff, it would be way harder for me, and I probably would need to try again to go through more medicine. I definitely was a little bit difficult for college because I'm just not good at focusing. I get distracted so easily. I mean, you guys, if you watch my live streams, you know this. I can't remember jack shit. I have horrible short-term memory for the most part. Some of my long-term memory is okay. It's so fucking hit and miss. I struggle with reading. If I don't block off two different pieces of paper to like most of the page, which that was a teacher in high school actually taught me that. That helped a lot. And then there's also the fact that a lot of times if I'm reading a page and I don't block it off, it looks like a jumbled like fucking a word puzzle basically. It's really annoying, and I can't, my retention is like really bad. So I have to do stuff like that. If you struggle with reading, I'd really recommend trying that tool, whether it be ADD or ADHD. But sitting still, the worst thing I struggle with is like not bouncing. I move a lot. People on stream will be like, your camera's moving. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And then like working out can help a little bit. But the fact that I do a hobby that I can focus with is really nice. The downside is my hyper focus with work. I get like way too zoned out sometimes, or zoned in, the zoned out. I hyper focus on stupid things that I shouldn't necessarily do. So I'll get like down a hole. What was it? The TikTok where I got the 1v4 on S&D. I spent over an hour on a 60-second TikTok. Over an hour. Because it had to be perfect. I definitely am more of a perfectionist, and I talk too much sometimes. There's times where like in person, I have to remind myself to like slow down. The other thing that I really struggle with is I'm thinking like 50 different things at once. So trying to keep up with how my brain is how fast it's going, and then also like the 50 different rounds that are also like popping up at the same time. That was probably one of the hardest aspects for me to struggle, like, because I felt like I was going insane a bit with how fucking far ahead and different conversations that I was able to get streamlined through my head. And yeah, anyways, but the one thing I struggle with too with Taylor is me remembering to like do laundry, and Taylor has to like fucking finish it because I forget I've started it, or just remembering to do simple tasks. So Taylor has to remind me. I have to set a lot of alarms, what was the other thing I was gonna say? This is what I'm talking about. I literally had it all laid out in my head, and I can't fucking remember what I was gonna say. It's gone. It's fucking gone. God damn it. Anyways, but yeah, it's a bitch. But there's some nice coping tools. I really recommend, if you struggle, there's some coping stuff that you can look up online. Or if it's really bad, I do recommend like going to a therapist and figuring out some coping skills. Because like when you get diagnosed, you have to go to a psychologist, and they'll help with that too. Will I be playing World of Warcraft Shadowlands when it comes out, or any other MMOs that you're interested in looking forward to playing? So WoW Shadowlands, probably not. I have my reasons for why I stopped playing World of Warcraft. And like honestly, like looking back, it was kind of fun. Like don't get me wrong, but there's just some community aspects that I just don't agree with that goes on in WoW. Other MMO wise, I really want to play New World, but that's gotten pushed back. There's a lot of MMOs that were supposed to kind of start coming out this year that I just don't know what the hell's going to happen with them anymore. There's some that have gotten canceled as well. You could do your research and shit on those if you would like. It's a little annoying, the amount of fucking Kickstarters that are scams, and this is why MMOs fucking struggle, the amount of scammer companies that pop up. If you don't know, I'm an MMO junkie. It's probably one of my favorite genres, but so many people come out with shitty fucking MMOs, or MMOs are just ran horribly. My favorite one is Dungeons & Dragons Online. I really, really recommend checking it out if you want a game that can be as hard as you want it to be, or as easy as you want it to be in terms of like progressing. But if you want a genuine grind in a game that is in-depth and D&D based in an MMO, I really recommend it. It's ddo.com. Loser Kid, did I ever get bullied in school? Yes, I did. My parents, like, literally, I talked about this with my dad the other night. He's like, I literally remember you coming home and being so fucking, annoyed and like shit. Like, I mean, I was very depressed at one point because of it. It was really bad. So growing up, it wasn't bad at first that I played video games and whatnot, or that I was more athletic than some of the other people my age. But as I got older, it became things that I got bullied for, as well as I did have a period, the ugly period, my awkward preteen period, where I got made fun of for my looks. Throughout like middle school and shit, there would be rumors that people would throw around. People would lie about, the people that got benched would lie about that I was shit, and then the guys would come and tell me the next day that, yo, so-and-so said this, and then we went to your game and this was not at all like the case. It's like, okay. And I never confronted them because it just wasn't worth the time, but it's one of those things where it's like you show it rather than just fucking creating more drama. Any other type of content you want to try doing, or that you're going or are you just going to do gaming content? I had so much shit planned for this year, and then COVID happened, in terms of like traveling stuff that I had in mind that would be really fun for YouTube, and I think a bit different. But I can't do that now. So hopefully next year I can get that rolling. It'd be super dope. I do have a podcast planned. A lot of my IRL stuff or stuff outside of just gaming in general that I have planned, I cannot do right now because I am waiting on a bunch of business stuff behind the scenes that has gotten, unfortunately, delayed. So hopefully soon. I would like to, but yes, I do have videos that are not gaming related, and I would like to do more than just gaming on this channel. Like I said, like if you watch the channel trailer, I've got, kind of gives you a rundown of what I want to do. Well, I do a setup video for 200K when you inevitably get there. So I've wanted to do it. I wanted to do a setup video for so long. This falls under the IRL stuff that I just explained. There's so much shit. I know that y'all see like the fun content stuff that I do and I really enjoy it, but there's so much genuine work that I do outside of stream business wise that it's in editing that like I know I have YouTube editors, but I do also my fair share of editing. I edit all my TikTok crap and things like that and do graphics crap, adjustments and shit like that literally all the time. So I haven't had time. Hopefully soon. I've wanted to get that out months ago and I have not just gotten to doing it. Let's see. When will merch be getting released? So I really recommend following Twitter for this or Discord. I will make a video when it's going to get released and let you guys know all the details, but merch has been backlogged because I'm going with a family-owned company that's going to put out great fucking quality. When I wanted to launch merch, I want to do it right. I want it to be good quality. I want you guys getting bang for your fucking buck, not this mainstream printed big company dog shit that falls apart and looks like shit after the first time you watch it. So it won't be that, and I'm excited. It's gonna be fantastic. The designs look so good. It's been so fucking hard. Didn't I show you guys? But I don't know entirely when. My goal is June. I was originally trying to launch merch back in March, but the pandemic happened. I did not personally feel morally comfortable putting out merch because you guys were so generous and with growth, and I've been very, very fortunate. I did not feel okay with putting out merch personally. I didn't think there was anything wrong with other people. I just did not personally feel right when a lot of people were struggling at the start of the pandemic and with job loss. I didn't think that should have been like a priority to put out. On top of, I knew there was going to be shipping problems, which is the problems that we've been having for the past couple months. I feel like now is an acceptable time to release it and I'm comfortable with it and I don't want to keep pushing it off. But there has been shipping problems, but I think June will be okay since things are starting to slowly go back to somewhat normal. International, there's probably going to be some problems. It just depends on if your country is going to deny shit or allowing merch to come in. Some countries are just flat out denying anything that's coming in and they're sending it back. So we'll see what happens on that front. Like for example, Brazil right now is not letting anything come in. So it purely depends on your country. So I don't know what shipping will be on that end of things for people. What got you started on playing video games? I'm not always, it's not always the go-to for girls. What pulled you into gaming? I love a concert way. I found you through the crew. Much love, dude. Hell yeah, BFC. And not TikTok. Yeah, that's dope. That's really cool. That's neat. So my dad got me into gaming. I kind of said that earlier. I've more or less been gaming since I popped out of my mom's pussy. But I got heavily into gaming around 4 years old with Quake 3 Team Arena. And then obviously I bounced around with other stuff after that. But that was the big thing that did it for me. I grew up watching my dad play Doom. I don't know what Doom game it is. I would have to fucking ask him. I don't know why I haven't asked him, but I remember him playing Doom. I watched him play Quake. I watched him play a lot of Asheron's Call. Quake 3 Team Arena was the first game that I heavily got into. I do like little LAN games with my dad, and when my buddy Alex came over, my sister would sometimes play with us. It was just really fun. My dad was like, his code name in game was Dr. Doom, and I was Death Eater, and I played the skittish little demon boy. My dad would play Morgan. It was really fucking fun. I had a blast. We'd all rage at one another throughout the house. But PC gaming was the first big thing that I got into. I remember playing it's such a like fever dream type memory. Like I was super fucking little. I don't know if it was the SNES or the NES that my cousins, whatever the fucking brick controller. I'm sorry. I don't fucking know its proper name. I can never remember if it's the SNES or the NES or not. Anyways, my point being, I remember playing Mario and shit on that at my cousins anytime we would visit them. But aside from that, I watched my dad and whatnot. Yeah, so my dad was what got me into gaming. He's been playing games since shit came out. I mean, he's like in his 50s. And all that, and D&D. Like, he's the reason I'm super into D&D. I remember him literally painting his figurines at the countertop with his glasses on and shit. And telling, his D&D stories. And I remember when we'd go to my grandparents, all us kids would go hang out downstairs, and I wanted to watch the D&D games that would go on, but obviously they probably weren't appropriate. So we weren't allowed to do that. But I remember my dad and my uncles setting up D&D games upstairs in my grandparents' dining room. Well, we'd go, all us cousins would go hang out downstairs. And yeah, so he's the reason I like D&D. I started playing, I didn't actually play the board game though until I got older. So there's that. But I played Dungeons and Dragons Online. That's, again, my favorite MMO when that came out in 2006. So yeah. What are your thoughts on the new AC Valhalla, and are you excited for it? Yes and no. So if you don't know, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fangirl. I've been playing, that was when my dad got me an Xbox 360 after I had to beg, after I'd play the fuck out of Modern Warfare 2 at my buddy Michael's house. We'd always play LAN and like online together. It was really fucking fun. But once I got my 360, we would play, I got Assassin's Creed 2, Modern Warfare 2, and I think it was Gears of War 3 that was out at the time. Those were the games that I got with my Xbox 360, and I fell in love with Assassin's Creed 2. I 100% of the game. It was fucking phenomenal. I enjoyed the whole Ezio trilogy. Those are my favorite Assassin's Creed games. I cannot choose between 2, Brotherhood, Revelations. I thought the whole thing was fucking fantastic. They didn't milk this arc. Anyways, without, rambling on, Valhalla, Assassin's Creed games are extremely hit and miss, in my opinion, but I think it'll be great because Odyssey was really good. It was like Witcher meets Assassin's Creed, which I think they needed to do something different if they wanted to keep the franchise alive. I just wish that the assassin shit was more involved again. That was the thing that I thought was super fucking disappointing with the past few Assassin's Creed games, though they were good. My biggest concern, though, isn't even that. It's the fact that Ubisoft can't optimize any of their games worth of fucking shit. I had over 100 crashes playing Odyssey when it came out, and they didn't fix the fucking bug until the game had been out for over 2 months. When the game first released, if you didn't hear about the bugs for Odyssey, for the first month, over 50% of the player base, did not matter what fucking device you were on, whether it be PC or console, it crashed consistently for people. So I had over 100 hours in the game, and I had over 100 crashes for Odyssey. So I was very frustrated by that. The story and whatnot was super good, but with how shit Ubisoft's optimization is, the game doesn't look that good to have that many fucking problems and have problems with running in general. Like, it's really pathetic in my opinion. So I hope Valhalla does good. I would love to play it and enjoy it, but I am fucking concerned for the optimization. So we'll see how it goes. Where the name Crusader come from? So you can say by the way, this is a question I get asked a lot as well. You can say Crusader, you can say Crusader, you can say Kruzadar. Just don't fucking say Kruzador. I don't know where people think AR sounds like OR. I don't get it. I'm like, you can say any of the other 3 variations. I don't care. I personally pronounce it like Crusader because like ZZZ. But I had different variations of Cruz in my username since I was little. So it's just a username I've been using for a fucking hot minute. I built on top of it though. As I got older, I went through several different variations of Crusader. But the big thing was like branding at the end. And I could get this everywhere, and it was the most unique spelling, and I liked how it looked and everything else. But for a long story short, I also had originally never planned to show my face. For the first 6 months of streaming, I did not show my face. I was concerned for privacy and a bunch of other shit. And again, I got, getting bullied for gaming and crap in general. I didn't, I was worried about people finding out about it. But I wanted a very gender neutral, more badass type name because I didn't want, something like XX Kitten Lover 32099 bullshit. I didn't want in game. I have a bit of a lower voice for a female, or lower pitch voice for a female. I think that right. So in games, I sometimes a good chunk of the time can get away with people not sure if I'm a guy or a girl. So they just some of them would tend to default that I'm a guy. Not always, and I can push my voice lower so that especially on mic in games, it can it can generally pass for that. But so I didn't want something feminine to like tip people off. But yeah, that's how I came up with it. It's not really that interesting of a story, but yeah, just been my shit for a long time. If I had to live for the rest of my life in a video game, what would I choose? I would choose Dungeons and Dragons Online. There's just so many infinite possibilities, and I love that community. My lefty, no, my camera's just mirrored. Most content creators' cameras are mirrored. Yeah, that's the only reason. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. That's why some of the shit a lot of the time is backwards. It's just easier to look out of the corner of your eye. I also enjoy it more because especially when I'm streaming, it looks like I'm looking at the chat versus me looking at the fucking followers list. It doesn't feel as immersive. Most people watch off of desktop, even though there's a good chunk that watch on mobile. Aviation asked, what would I be doing if I wasn't a streamer? Do you think you would be as happy? I I think I would, but I feel way more motivation. I feel like in this industry, I feel like I can make a bigger difference in this industry than I would have, say, in the computer science area. So I started messing with HTML, and obviously I've always been around with computers. I started messing around with HTML in middle school with my best friend Alex, which you guys, there's a video with him, the homemade, our first homemade video. Like we started messing with content creation stuff like at home as a joke when we were really little. And so him and I like did, mess with HTML. And then when we got into high school, we started learning C++ and shit like that, and goofing around. It was really fun. It was really enjoyable. I found out I enjoyed that a lot, and I figured I would. But once we started doing more like in-class competitions and whatnot, I realized I really liked more of the leadership role of things. But I didn't really think too much of it at the time. So when I got to, before going to college, I had a bunch of interviews for scholarships that I was going and I was doing. And I happened to, I just started talking to people, and I ended up running into a bunch of computer science heads, and I networked or I bumped into their daughters, and we're like, oh shit, and their dads ended up like running it. Like it was really cool. I was really fortunate to be able to get the advice that I did. And a lot of them told me, they're like, we would hire you, or other people would hire you, one, because like, looking for females in the industry and finding people that, are social and also have the background knowledge and already the bit of experience that I had is already more than some people, at least at that point in time. Was really big. So what they were telling me, they advised me, go to community college, we'll hire you, pay for the rest of your college, and we'll go from there. And we'll start teaching you all that coding while you're working for us. So anyways, that was my plan. After I started going through, I decided I wanted to change my degree to more of the business route of computer science versus just the coding. The more I've thought about it, and especially once I got off my ADHD medicine, I was like, I really just don't want to just sit at a computer. So I talked to them and I got advice, and I was actually, they're like, that's fine, go the business route, work on other stuff outside of it coding wise, and, we'll work on a business position. And I got done, and they actually had seen my portfolio stuff for Stream with how I handled social media and everything. So they wanted to bring me on and hire me to move across the country, and I was going to go do that instead with that computer science company. But at that point in time, so I was at two crossroads once I got my degree, and that was basically set in stone. I was almost streaming full time when that had happened in, what year was it? 2018. Yeah, 2018. Spring of 2018. And I had been dating Taylor for a year and a half at that point. I was able to give full-time streaming a shot. I had been able to save up, and I was financially stable, and I was able to pay off my community college that I'd done for by that point. And it was either I move across the country and I go take that full-time computer science job and then also go back to finish my college degree and whatnot, or I could give full-time streaming a shot that was financially sound and move in with my boyfriend of a year and a half. And by that point, distance wasn't bad. It worked out perfectly for both of us, with the point that we were in our lives. But I was sick of doing it, and so was he at that point. And I honestly felt like I would have regretted not giving it a shot and seeing where it could lead to. And I'm very grateful that I did that. That's kind of my mindset, is I don't want to do things that I regret. If there's something that I feel like is the right thing to do and go with my gut, I'm a firm believer in that for the most part, as long as it's somewhat rational. For example, I had roommates and stuff. And again, I was able to still save while doing content creation full time, smart with my money and whatnot. So if that wasn't the case, I would not have done that, but I was very fortunate, and it turned out, and I got lucky. So yeah, that's what I would have been doing. I think I would have enjoyed myself. I had talked to people at the company, beforehand, and they were really neat, and I really liked the college that I would have ended up going to as well, and the mentors that I would have dealt with. But I'm very grateful I did this route. I really like creative shit. I used to do a lot of painting and whatnot too. So I just always have enjoyed the creative side, but I do like the logical side as well. Oh, someone else asked, Carlos, how old are you? But if you don't want to answer, what's your favorite game of all time? So games of all time depends on the genre. I'll answer the age thing, obviously, as well. But games of all time, MMORPGs is Dungeons and Dragons Online. Single player game is the Assassin's Creed Ezio trilogy. And then in terms of FPS games, that would be Quake 3 Team Arena. I am 22 years old. I'm a 97 baby. Yeah, I feel like no one ever really thinks that I'm early 20s. It's either people think I'm always older, like I'm in my late 20s, or people think that for some reason I'm in my late teens. So it's never in between. But yeah, I am 22. Someone asked how the crew and I met, which is another question that I get actually a lot, so I do want to answer that one. So the crew and I, obviously, if you know, I've been watching them since they played freaking Minecraft, Crewcraft originally on the Xbox. So I've always been a super, super big fan, and I respected them a lot. They actually, so I'd followed them, and I goofed around and I bantered with Deluxe originally. He tweeted out his Rusty Knife collection in Counter-Strike, and I finally was like, oh, I'll just respond back. And I was like, oh shit, you got the collection to match your gameplay, Rusty. And dude was like, what the fuck? And I remember that him and the other guys were like, commenting back, laughing, like thinking it was fucking funny. But from what Deluxe has said, I can't remember entirely. So he said before that he found my channel or knew about me prior to that on Twitch. But I remember him, he lurked for a while. So I'm guessing that was part of it, but I didn't know that until after. I remember, I definitely freaked out a little bit when they followed me and shit. But they're all super, super fucking cool. I played with them for a while before we posted any content because as a girl, it's really nerve-wracking doing that shit. I didn't start streaming with them until, even though I've been friends with them for over 4 years now, I didn't start streaming content with them until, November when COD came out, because, we talked and we were all like, you know what, let's, we should all really do this and, let's do content together and have a good time. And, no one else was really buying COD from my friend group. And so that, we were all like, yeah, let's fucking do this. This is going to be a fucking blast. And, I was nervous. I literally asked them, I was like, is it, I waited for 4 years. I was like, is it okay if I turn my stream on so I don't just record off stream like I was doing? I felt bad. I didn't want to be that person. As someone who's had bridges and shit burned a lot, I was very self-conscious of that. I didn't ever want to come off that way. And they're like, yeah, we've been waiting for you to do this shit. But we didn't record with each other until months after I'd been playing with them. Getting comfortable and whatnot, and I guess vetting. But I never wanted to come across as the person that was, a lot of people like to say that girls are, whose dick did you fucking suck to get in that group? And because just people think women aren't in gaming and using and shit. So I was very self-conscious of that, not gonna lie. So I didn't, for a long time, say shit, overly flaunt shit. But I've been friends with them for a long time now. What advice would I give my younger self about streaming? Never to have thoughts about ever doing nudes. Just guys have always pressured women to doing nudes, and it's the reason I mentioned that in my content creation video that I have. There was a slight time when I considered it, because the amount of guys that I was stagnant and tried to pressure it on me that, all these other girls are doing it and they're growing, you should do it. And so that dumbass fucking logic popped into my head that this is a norm, maybe I should do this. And I'm so glad I didn't. It just would have caused a fucking mess of creepy guys that would have popped into my stream. And I didn't really, that doesn't happen with every stream, but it's just the frequency of it would have been way higher. And there's just a bunch of fucked up shit. And the other, I wish I would have never let that, cross my mind. But the other thing that I would give my younger self is don't ever don't have expectations for people. Keep your circle fucking smaller than it was. In terms of avoiding crappy people. There's times where I wish I would have stayed away from esports orgs as a whole. And with the expectations thing, don't expect people to have common sense. Don't expect people to, care or have morals. There's a lot of people in this world that don't. There's a really good chunk of people that don't. So I would say that's probably the biggest advice I would have given myself. My favorite part about streaming, it's fun. I fucking enjoy myself all the time. I'm always having a good time. If I feel like crap, I'm not going to stream, or I'll wrap stream up early if I'm I'm not really in the mood. I just kind of want to chill off stream and whatnot. But yeah, I enjoy it. I have a really fucking good time. Now, obviously my stuff's going to be fucking mirrored. Unintentional fucking pun. But it's gonna be a bit mirrored. I can flip-flop it around. Flippity floppity. This mirrors on my property. But yes, this is it. 100K YouTube plaque. Thank you guys seriously so much. I appreciate it. I can never thank you guys enough. This is an insane milestone. So thank you guys. I appreciate it. I feel like I'm gonna bump enough my fucking mic with this mirror. I don't feel comfortable. And thank you guys. I do really appreciate it. This is not just a me plaque. This is a freaking community plaque. I earned it sort of thing, but seriously, you guys have helped me out so fucking much. You guys pretty much 180'd how my life was. Not that my life was bad, I was enjoying myself, but I'm happier than ever. I'm enjoying myself and my content more than ever. And I'm very, lucky to have you guys. I, put some smile on some people's faces with my shitty humor and whatnot. So thank you guys. I'm going to hang this up next to my setup. So hopefully when I'm able to do the setup tour, you guys can see it. And I hope you guys have a good time. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching and all the support as per usual. Say something nice to someone in the comment section would be really cool too, or to people in your life. Don't forget, be positive, all that shit. Thank you guys. Have a good one. Bye.